End of this thing here. Here we go. Enter. Good morning. Good morning here in this moment. It's just, hey, how you doing everywhere else? Small sip of coffee. For those of you just joining us for the first time, my name is Abby Hagyard, and these are my live videos that I have been doing for a couple of years now, twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock. And the purpose, I kind of call it snack therapy because it's not a long commitment. We're here for a good time. We're only here for a long time if I can't figure out the technology. And the reason I'm here is that I'm creating these life hack videos as a support to all the work that I've done throughout my career in show business and all of the efforts that I've made throughout my life as a military kid. Because I think we didn't all get a book called How. just how to, how, why, how, when, how, what. And I think that if we discuss the how, somehow, sometime, some way, the uncertainty disappears because we're not alone. We're all a little confused from time to time. And the theme for today's video, which I think is kind of appropriate given this lead up, is I want to talk about the one thing that we all want. We all want it. We all call it something different. We all look for it, lean into it in different ways for different reasons. However, it is, I think, the one thing that brings us all together when we have the time to stop and think about it. So, shall we get started? All right, one more sip. A big project that I've been working on for the last couple of years is a concept in, I've called it personal excellence. And I don't mean you have to do more to be more. I don't mean that. What I mean by personal excellence is wherever we are, however we are, no matter what is going on around us, is there a way for us to feel that we have the ability to bring our best self for that moment, in that moment, to that moment? You know, if it's a quiet, rainy day and we have a good book or there's something great on one of the streaming channels, or we just like to sit and watch the rain, which part of our personality is the best us to bring for that moment? If we really are just want to kick back and put our feet up and just enjoy the kind of the calming, the soothing, the rhythm of it, the plunkety plunk on the windows and whatnot, which us works for that? If, on the other hand, we've done something absolutely out of our minds and invited a bunch of people over, and we've all of a sudden realized that that's today, and now we have to clean the house. Which us is the best part of us to bring for that? Which efficient, as opposed to spinning in circles, which best efficient part of us is the one that is going to do the best job of that in a way that by the time the house is clean, we're not exhausted. But by the time the house is clean and everybody's coming, we still have the energy left to put on some lipstick and figure out what we're going to eat. Who among all of the us is that part of us that we bring? How we go get that part of us gets us through each moment, right? It gets us through each moment. The thing is, something I began to notice during the COVID pandemic, is that people didn't seem to have an awareness that they could do that. They didn't seem to know how to cope. And that's understandable. We've never been through a situation like that in our lifetimes. We'd never been in a situation where everybody, everywhere, whether we knew them or not, was in some way affected by it. Believe in it or not, irrelevant. Believe in the solutions, irrelevant. The debate, time vampire. The point is, every single one of us was impacted by it, affected by it. And very, very few people seem to know which part of them to bring to the conversation. Which part of their personality was the best suited to meet the moment. And by the way, rise above the moment. And by the way, get through all the other things that were part of the normal day. I mean, the fact that there were all kinds of new concerns and new recommendations and new tools to use didn't take away from the fact that we still manage somehow every day to fill a full 24 hours. You know, I have these later folders, and one of the things that I use the later folder for, aside from I keep pieces of paper, lined sheets of paper in the later folder, so that when I'm leaving one space and I'm going to the next one, think of it as shifting gears. When I get in the car, before I start the car, whatever was going on in the apartment or the house or the store, whether it was good or bad, if I'm still focused on it, I write it down. I write it down so that my subconscious brain, the emotional one, doesn't panic that I'm going to forget. And I'm able to concentrate on driving. I'm about to start a car that can go very fast and hit things very hard. And I'm going to get out in traffic where a whole lot of other people are doing the same thing in the same kinds of vehicles. I'd like to have all my wits about me. I don't need to have them preoccupied. I don't need to have them distracted. I don't need to be saying to myself, oh, I have to remember to text so-and-so. Write it down. Write it down, and then I won't forget. You know, it's crazy. I talk about how I take notes all the time. These are the notebooks that I've gone through in 6 months. I keep a notebook beside my keyboard, and I take it with me if I'm going to go and sit and watch television, or I take it with me when I'm going to go and have a bath, or I take it with me when I'm going to go to bed. Why? Because ideas come whenever they feel like it. So they don't come when I want. They come when they want. And I want to make sure that if a really great idea comes, I write it down. Because there have been times in the past where I've said to myself, I'll remember that. And then, no, I haven't. And I've walked around thinking, because it was such a great idea. So I learned my lesson. I write stuff down. And then I go back and I review and I say, ooh, or ooh. It doesn't matter. It's safe. I'm safe. I have not lost that thing that felt important to me. That is the theme today. The one thing we all want is feeling safe. We all want to feel that it's going to be okay. In my lead up, I wrote in the description that when I was very young, you remember some things that stand out. One of the things that stands out from maybe I was 3 years old, I remember that I often said, is everything going to be okay? And it's a weird thing. I have a photograph of me with my mom climbing down a set of stairs, and I'm looking up at her. And I know I'm asking her that question because I can remember asking that question that day. Because it was a very complicated day. And I used to think that, good morning, Freddie. I used to think that I asked that question, is everything going to be okay? Because I was a military kid, because we moved all the time. And every time we moved, I didn't know where anything was. Somebody was saying that they went into their grocery store the other day, and there's part of it is under construction, so they've had to move stuff around. And I don't know about you, I make a grocery list based on the order in which I walk through the store. Once I get familiar with the store, that's so I don't forget. So I'm not all over the page saying, what else do I need? It's orderly. If they move everything around and you can't find the pickles, it's unsettling. And you hear people saying, well, why would they put it there? I mean, everybody knows that you need pickles next to the mustard. I put pickles in my egg salad, so certainly we would need the pickles near the eggs. See? So the reason people kvetch and moan is because something has changed. And because it's unfamiliar, it doesn't feel safe. Later folder. Make it feel safe. Write it down. I'm not going to forget it. When I'm finished driving and I park the car, if something happened on the road, I write it down. I want to get whatever that was, whatever element of road rage it might have been, I want to get that out of my head. I don't want to carry that with me into the meeting. I don't want to carry that with me into the lovely lunch I'm about to have with somebody. So I put it in the later folder, and I pat the folder. I say, I'll be back. Because I want to calm ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. I want to calm my subconscious. I want to try and interrupt its natural tendency to want to control things and make sure we're safe. So if I write it down and I know it's safe, and I say, there, I'll be back, I'll see you later, subconscious also knows it's safe. That's one less thing for it to have to juggle in the moment. And the other thing that I've been doing in among all of the tasks and tools and ideas and themes and hacks for this Pivotry project. Pivotry, my word, is the way we are able to shift and select and put forward the part of us that is going to own the moment. That we make that decision in our head is the art form. That we can do that allows us then to physically, mentally, and emotionally pivot and be in a different direction, facing in a different way, attacking from a different angle, whatever we're dealing with. And one of the things about Pivotry that I love to do, as if you've been watching my videos, I love to use props that are interesting, eye-catching, and fun. If they're interesting, it creates curiosity. It triggers curiosity. If they're eye-catching, you notice them. It's a pile of notebooks on a desk. People say, what are those? Those are my ideas. I have to put them someplace. There's not enough room in here. So the other thing I've been doing is I've been trying to figure out how I would talk to people about all the different personalities we have and all the roles that we play. And it occurred to me that something that would be really fun would be to use finger puppets, because finger puppets are, they're inner child worthy, right? And so I went online looking for the silliest finger puppets I could find. And what I came up with was pretty good, actually, in terms of silly. What I came up with were these silly creatures. I just want to get the last one here. Where is it? Okay, here we go. All right, so hi. So I'll bring them up really close so you can see them, right? So there they are. There's my little finger puppets. I don't know what to call them. I don't know anything about them really, except that they made me laugh. And I ordered one, and it came, and I laughed for about 3 days, and then I ordered more. So here's the thing. used to do the whole sock puppet thing when I was folding laundry. Did you ever do that? Having conversations with sock? So here's the thing about finger puppets. If we can imagine all the things we do, I don't mean all the things, I mean all the roles we play. If we can just for a second say to ourselves, okay, so you got enough fingers there, Abby? I don't actually. I have another 5 over here, and I have another 5 of those. I wanted to illustrate something pretty important. So let's say this is just Abby. Hi, this is just Abby. And let's say, Doris, I'm speaking your language. Good morning. These fingers. So let's say this is just regular Abby all by herself, alone in her apartment with finger puppets. Okay. This is Abby. And let's say, this is be unsettling in 3, 2, 1. Let's say this is consultant Abby. And people pay me money to teach them things about life. Hi. How you doing? Okay. And let's say that this is tenant Abby. This is the Abby who lives in the apartment building. And prior to the apartment building, this is the Abby who lived in a house. And prior to that, this was the Abby who had to keep packing and unpacking because wherever it was we were going is where we were going to live. So let's say that that's tenant dwelling Abby. That's the neighbor, right? That's the neighbor. And let's say this is creative Abby, who's going to be doing a new live one-woman show, which is totally different from client mentor. One-woman show is a totally different exercise. They're both the same color because it's a certain, communication. And let's say this Abby is the one who is interested in something new, some new way of blending mentor Abby and performer Abby and tribe Abby and personal Abby. Let's say this new Abby is a combination of all of those. And what I'm doing with this pivotry in motion is I'm tapping into all of my different abilities and all of my different personalities so that I can give people my personal experience, my professional experience, and my career guide life hack experience. And I can put them all together and advise people on the different ways that we are challenged when we can't figure out how to do what we're doing if we don't feel safe. Because that's basically the thing we all want to know. So with all these finger puppets, I said to myself, this is also a very good illustration here because I have more finger puppets. This one fascinates me. I really like him. How you doing? I have a slime green one too. Because of course I do. See? Okay. If I am busy with all of these, how do I manage all of these? How do I get those active if all of these are busy, all of these are overwhelmed, all of these have expectations all at the same time? Well, I obviously can't do all of this at the same time, can I? Now, the thing that sets us apart from a lot of animals is that we have the opposable thumb thing. We can pick things up and put things down in ways that other animals can't. Okay, so let me just take that off and that off. Now I have fingers free. Now I could put a puppet over here, right? And I could put a puppet over here because I have these opposable fingers and thumbs, right? I can do all of this. There we go. Now I'm much more versatile, and I'm much more capable to do the things that I do and still be able to manage and maintain. I still have control as long as I haven't overwhelmed myself with too many roles and too many responsibilities and too many promises of performance. I've created balance in some way. I've given myself permission to need time to write things in the later folder. If all of my fingers are busy, who's going to do the writing down? Who's going to have the ability to pick up the phone and say, uh, automated device, write this down for me? Who's going to do that? I won't be able to if all of my fingers are busy. If I have decided that I can multitask with every part of my brain's subconscious, conscious, superconscious, when do I rest? When do I give myself time to be tired? Where is there room for the part of me that just wants to sit and put her feet up and relax and listen to the rain? I've taken that away. I've overextended myself. I've exhausted myself. And when we are overextended and exhausted, tired toddler comes back. And tired toddler doesn't feel safe. And if tired toddler doesn't feel safe, it doesn't matter what the rest of us want to do. The inner child is always in charge. So the conversation today about is it safe? The curious thing about that question, the curious thing about that question that I find fascinating is that we don't ask that question while we're running downhill trying to figure out how to stop before we reach the cliff. While we realize our pants are on fire and we're looking for something to stop, drop, and roll, get water. While we're in the midst of coping, while we're in the midst of managing, while we're in the midst of surviving the moment, just this moment right now, while we are in it 100%, we only have the one puppet, and the one puppet is totally in charge. The rest of us, the rest of our sides, our selves, our personalities, are not asking questions. We can only completely focus on one thing if the one thing is truly big, truly immediate, truly essential, truly now. When you're driving, we had some freezing rain yesterday, and lucky us, we're going to get more tomorrow. We had freezing rain yesterday, and I've done a lot of commuting on highways here and abouts, and I was on a trip from Ottawa to Toronto, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive, depending on how crazy you are. And we as I drove toward Toronto, hit a patch of weather, and it was freezing rain. And the one thing you should never do, by the way, if you hit ice on the highway, never tap your brakes. Don't do it, because if you tap your brakes, you lose traction. And all of a sudden, you're not really driving, you're a spectator. It's a spectator sport. And and don't turn the wheel, just kind of maintain. Because if you turn the wheel and you have no traction, you could be a spectator going sideways. And I know this because it's happened to me. In the midst of those moments, there is only one person driving the car. It's the person driving the car. The me that's supposed to talk to a client later, the me who's thinking of having people over, the me who is going to go shopping. No, they're not front and center. The only me that is front and center is the me driving the car. And the me driving the car is so focused on the actual driving the car, as opposed to being held hostage in the car by the ice, is not curious about anything other than this immediate moment. We are 1,000% in it, right? We've all been there. We have all been there. There is no room in our head to say, oh my God, how do I feel about this? What's going on? What's going on? I don't like this. Somebody stop. No. That whole thing gets shut off. Why? Because we're a little busy at the moment. And this shut off, this prioritize, this select the self to own the moment. That's done by our subconscious brain. We don't have to have a conversation about it. Who do I want to be and what do I want to wear? It happens so fast. We don't have time to discuss it internally. It's issue, solution, bang, instantly. It's only afterwards when we review what happened. It's only afterwards when the shock and the relief and the sobbing set in. It's only later when we're talking to other people about it that we have opinions. We don't have an opinion while we're in it. We don't have a discussion point. We're not going to do a PowerPoint presentation on it while we're in it. Why not? Because we're busy. Because we are monotasking. Well, good morning, Kevin. Only 5 minutes before having to go for my Thursday, whatever it is. Well, Kevin, it's 5 minutes of magnificence. Here you are. Good morning. So what I'm talking about, Kevin, is, the one thing we all want. And the one thing we all want is to know that we're safe. The one thing we all want is to know, absolutely know, not hope. Gosh, I hope we're going to be safe. No. We want to know that we are right now. And the proof that we are is that we have been. The proof that we're safe is that we're here. I've been here, and then here in the larger sense, here in all the other character sense, here in all the places sense, for some time now. Right? I was very small at one point. I'm taller. I am still here. That clearly is the answer to, am I safe? Was I safe? Apparently, because I made it. And I always feel, the odds that I will continue to be safe are good. All I have to do is keep doing what I do. All I have to do is keep choosing the right me to manage the moment. And here's the whole point. The whole point is that we don't know how we do it because it's done automatically on autopilot by that clever part of our brain. And because we don't know, we don't feel we have any control. This part wants to be in control. Grief, real and important and valuable, is a cherishing of something we no longer have in the way we used to have it. Grief is a looking back and a celebration of something that was. Grieving is actively engaging in missing that, whatever it was. And it's a beautiful and important and essential thing, except when? Well, when we need to be safe, when we need to be front and center. Anticipation, concern, anxiety about future things. Also important. Good to plan ahead. If it's going to be freezing rain, I don't know, wear socks, put shoes over them, walk carefully, or stay home. Plan ahead. If it's going to be freezing rain, you know what? If it's going to be freezing rain tomorrow, go get groceries today. Plan ahead. However, planning ahead, days and weeks and months, for a thing that may or may not happen. Oh my gosh, what happens if we have a tornado in July? Uh, um, I don't know. What happened the last time you had a tornado in July? Can you learn from the past lesson? Could we maybe focus on getting the groceries in front of the freezing rainstorm tomorrow? And then while we're in the house tomorrow during the freezing rainstorm, we could go and pick up the notebook that we kept during the tornado and refresh our memory. So what I'm saying about all of that, about grieving and about anticipation and about anxiety and about concern and spinning thoughts, all of those ways that we feel and all of those inefficient ways that we fill our brains and our time are the physical expression of the question we're asking. Am I safe? Will I be safe? Is it safe? That's what it is, because that's what we want. So a curious thing happened the other day. A very, very good friend of mine posted on social media that someone had stolen her car. And a few weeks before that, somebody had managed to get access to her credit card, and she got notified by the credit card company that there were charges that didn't look like her normal behavior. And so she had to go through that process of, getting all the funds back and getting a different card and so on. She was still in a space of feeling unsafe from the credit card situation when she got notified that her car was gone. So she hadn't finished dealing with, oh my God, will I ever be safe again? I use my credit card for so many things. I don't know if I feel safe using it. She's still having that conversation with herself. And now the car's missing. And now she has to, interestingly, put all of the other worry aside and shift into focusing, intelligent, smart, capable, prioritizing her, and talk to the insurance company and talk to the police and talk to the leasing company. And she was on the phone with those different agencies for most of the day. And when she took a break to, I don't know, have a glass of water or go to the bathroom or let the dog out, she posted on Facebook, somebody stole my car. The interesting thing that happened, the lovely thing that happened, that all kinds of people commented, oh my gosh, are you okay? Is there anything I can do? Let me know. Do you need me to run any errands for you? Is there somebody you can call? Do you have an insurance adjuster? Is there blah, blah, blah? Not just a heart, not just a thumbs up, not just OMG, but people trying to step up and get in step with her, people of her tribe, in her community and in her work life and in her personal life, stepping up to get in step with her to say, you're not walking through this alone. We don't got you because we can't fix it for you. However, we are with you. And if anybody gives you a hard time, we can go with you to have that hard time follow-up conversation. We care about you. And it was the caring about her that was so clear that hours later, she posted it. I can't begin to thank you enough. Love conquers everything. And the fact that you care meant everything. And what she was really saying, she and I had a chat last night. I felt safe. I felt horribly unsafe. I felt violated for the second time in a few weeks. I felt some invisible negative force had attacked me. And it's terrifying and demoralizing and confusing. And she runs a business, and she's very, very good at her business. And she had to go into work. She had to deal with work, deal with clients, deal with suppliers, deal with other business owners, with all of this going on in her head. And she said, you need to talk to me about executive grief again, because I kind of needed a little pep talk there this afternoon. It got a bit crazy. And because, of course, what happened was, in the middle of everything, somebody asked her a detailed question that had to do with financial stuff about her business. Not anything she's done wrong, but it's just a financial thing. And she was completely verklempt. She was completely befuddled. And she said, I felt so stupid. I felt so angry with myself that I didn't have a clear answer. And in the middle of it, the person said, well, why can't you, blah, blah, blah. And she said, last week, my credit card got stolen. And yesterday or today, my car got stolen. I'm a little distracted. And she said there was this silence on the phone. The person said, oh my God, are you okay? And this is the thing I think that is the most important in our conversation today, in this video today, because I know every single one of us struggles with it. Am I safe? Is it safe? And the answer is, have you been safe so far? Did you make it through the last tornado? Did you find a way to cope in the confusion of your lost luggage? When you had to go to the hospital to deal with something terrifying, either about yourself or someone you love? Did you make it home okay? Are you still here? Yes? Then you're safe. Then you're safe. And for every single one of us who says, I'm not having that great a day, and they share that on the various social media that they belong to, and the people who reach out and say something, even if all they get is a thumb, or they get a heart, or they get a whatever, you're safe. You're not alone. You're not set adrift. One of my clients was saying the other day that she felt as though everything was slipping away. And it's really scary. And I said, I know. Waves on a beach. Waves have to go away in order to come back. They don't hit the beach and stay there. So when it's slipping away to re-energize, to reshape, to reset, to refocus. And then it's going to come back in. Ta-da. How do we know it will? It always does. How do I know I'm safe? I'm walking here. And this is the part of us that we have to give ourselves permission to focus on. It's important to plan. It's important to strategize. It's important to prepare. And after that, write it down and give yourself permission to set it aside so that you can be here, present, now, in this moment, 100%. You have all these roles you can play. You know, I can join the photography club and I can go mountain climbing. Well, no, I can't go mountain climbing. My friend Kimothy can go mountain climbing. I'll wave. I can keep bees. I'm not going to keep bees, but I could. Okay. But I only have three fingers on this hand, and I only have 3 free on this hand, which means I can only actively manage 6 at a time. I need the other fingers free to take care of me. Doing more, being busier, saying open 24/7. Really? When, what do you do when they show up at the door and you had to go to the bathroom because you have stomach flu? We all have to understand, okay, then maybe don't say 24/7. Maybe say call ahead. Maybe give yourself permission to be human. Maybe give yourself permission to leave a space between this role and this role so that the panic doesn't overwhelm you. So that the importance, which is feeling safe, the importance, which is knowing we're not alone, the importance, which is feeling rested enough to have the energy to feel excited and curious, as opposed to terrified and panicked and spinning needlessly in circles, is the priority. The one thing we all want to know, am I safe? And the answer is, yes, we are. And we're even more safe together. So today's homework, I'm giving you homework today. If you don't have a later folder, make one. If you don't have a notebook, get one. These are your closest friends in terms of managing all the thoughts jumping around in your head. Write stuff down. If you have one of those note function things on your phone, learn to use it. Whatever the method is that you're comfortable with, use it. You have focus issues, you have ADHD, you have traumatic brain injury. Okay, use Post-it notes. Put them where you see them. Keep a notebook in the bathroom. Give yourself permission to give yourself coping tools. And as we move forward with Pivot Tree, and as we move forward with the website, and as we move forward with the tools, you and I will be getting together for little workshop sessions and Zoom sessions and conversation sessions and live event sessions. And I will teach you how these tools work. It's lovely to go to a big motivational speaker. It's lovely to listen to them say, you can do this, you can do this. It's really helpful if any of them tell you how. It's really helpful if any of them tell you where the toolbox is. It's really helpful if any of them explain to you how this brain at the back of your head got so good at it. It's really helpful if they remember that they were once where we are now, at the very beginning of the path, and that they had no idea what they were doing back then either. That's an important thing that a lot of people forget. I'm not casting any aspersions on any motivational people. I'm saying, telling me that I can, just say no, just say yes, just do more to be more, is completely unhelpful if I don't know whether or not I have to plug it in first. And if I have an outlet nearby, or does it need batteries and which kind? We have to remember that I'm not playing with the same number of skills and tools that they are. I do want to learn. I'm not being difficult. I need to know how to do what, where, when, and why, so that I can feel safe. And so do you. So, homework. Get something to write stuff down. Get into the habit. Give yourself permission at the beginning and the end of everything you're doing that's big. Get in the car, start the car before you put it in gear, write a note. All the stuff that just happened in the house, later. Takes 5 seconds. You're overwhelmed, you're spinning. Pause. Write it down. I'm overwhelmed, I'm spinning. Breathe. Okay. Do my 5-finger breathing exercise. Give yourself permission to be amazing. Because you are, because you can, because you always do. Just give yourself permission to rest between the functions. Allow yourself to step into that in-between space. Because in that in-between space, you know what you are? Safe. Okay, gotta go. Feel safe and have a fantastic rest of your day. Kevin, you too. Fly and be free. Say hello to the lovely April for me. And as for the rest of you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, here's the thing. The weekend is upon us. It is looming. Ours has freezing rain in it. Many of my friends are in southern places and they're posting pictures of sunrises and sunsets and beaches and palm trees and tropical drinks. And I only have one thing to say to you. I'll get even. Mark my words. I'll get even. You'll never know where or when. I hope all of you who are in those southern places are having a wonderful time. Don't take any wooden whatsits. And on this weekend coming, whatever the challenges are, you can't own the moment if you're not in it 100%. You have to be in the moment to own the moment. So let's start there. And if you have questions, if you have concerns, you know where I am. We can talk. Because it's not nearly as much fun filling the moments when you're feeling anxious as when you're feeling awesome. So let's get you there. Let's get you from terrified to awesome, from distracted to awesome. You already have it all. Let me just help you figure out where you've put it so you can bring it back. All right? That's my offer. That's the deal. In the meantime, between now and Tuesday next week, be good to you. In the moment. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones. They deserve it. All right? Thank you so much for watching.